pleasure to meet you. 8 in the morning. That's the perfect time at eBase to ask questions because later you don't hear anything. So, why all together? And who got that idea and when?
Well, the idea was Paolo. I believe it dates back to 2015, first Aerops.
So at the first Aerops Europe in Cannes, 6-7 years ago, I've always thought of the importance that all the software that operators use can talk. So that there's a free flow of data among all the participants in the market. After all, that's what they already do, except they do it via email most of the time, and they attach Excel files to those emails and such antiquated methods. So APIs or connectors between software, I think that's what people should be looking for, other than just the features that every vendor of software has. So I created the Connected World of Aviation. We got 10 companies on the same stand with the idea that all the software that you can pick and choose on that stand talks to any other one. And so fast forward to today, we restarted this after COVID. And so we got 3 companies that have been working together while we were all locked up at home. I think that we share close to all our customers, right? They all use AvioWiki, they all use MySky, they all use Flex. And it's wonderful.
How did you get to that connected world of aviation?
The heart of AvioWiki is enabling connection, enabling then automation based on digitization of the industry. And so it was just a very easy fit. Yeah, so we provide data to the MySky customers, provide data to Flex customers. They use them inside their systems, in the native applications that they use every day. They don't need to go somewhere else. And that's the heart of connection, right?
I mean, there is one stop for everything. Yeah. The reaction of customers.
I think with the connected world of aviation, they start realizing the value that software technology can bring. All of us technology companies fight 3 enemies. Fear of change is one. The legacy systems running somewhere. Fear of technology because they're not understanding how much value software can bring to their businesses. It's sometimes hard to quantify, but if you show it in a connected use case, like an airport changes the opening hours on AvioWiki, and you get a charter request in Flex, you get an immediate warning, hey, the runway is closed on that airport. That shows the value, and that's what we try to convey to our common customers.
Do you agree if I say that even now with all the technologies we have, we still have to teach customers how to use technology? Because sometimes they're hearing it's a new stuff, it's a new feature, but they have no clue how to use it and what is the benefits of actually using that. Do you agree that learning is good for customers and we need to talk more, to explain more, to show them more? Because just announcements, they don't get the message.
100%. Nobody reads feature announcements anymore. There's just too many about it. We need to explain. That's what we do all day. Explain the value, explain what the software does and what it can do for you. At this show, I think compared to the previous ones, we see many more young people. It's a diverse crowd, which for me, it's for all of us. I think it's great. It's finally the generational change in business aviation. And these young guys, they look at technology. They grew up with an iPhone in their pocket. The previous generation didn't. So
we are also improving the marketing, and we're pulling out more videos where you see things that are red and then they turn yellow and then they turn green. And that's pretty obvious. We have a video that's going to be released today. We have an API, so a connector with JetX. There's a lot of services that now transit directly over the internet, and we've prepared together a video where you see a flight that's all red and then it turns all green, and you can do that across the services. So when JetX gets a permit for a flight, it instantly turns green on Flex. If they change something on Flex, you can see JetX reacting to it instantly, right? And that's the beauty of it.
And being here is a lot easier to do that educational part, because once you put it into perspective like this, I'm explaining AudioWiki and I say, this is what Flex does with this data, and this is what MySky does with this data. Once you put it into perspective, here is already half of the education.
But that's exactly, when they see in the real time without this, what I see, a lot of people are afraid of asking. And that's really strange, because for everyone, it's the easiest. I mean, if you have any question, go there. Even silly questions, but you will find out what is the meaning, how you do that, and for the next time it's gonna be okay. But still, I see a lot of people who are afraid of asking, learning.
Yeah.
And so when you have actually physically, not in a Teams or something, because it's a pleasure to see everyone live again, people are actually step by step, taking all this information, then understanding everything, and then it works. So
I'm happy. Sorry, what Stefan was saying. We've seen the new generation. I'm very happy about that, because this industry, particularly, can be very intimidating from someone that comes from the outside. No, seriously, some of the AudioWiki stuff that we brought, young people, never been to an aviation trade show. And it is intimidating, you see all these...
It's a nice industry. When you are in, if you are really aviation guy, you will never go out.
I know. I wouldn't be able to.
No. When you stick with aviation, so believe me, from the next generation, there will be people who will have a look, they go, but there will be a lot of people who will stay and find the way, definitely.
Yeah.
Next show will be what? NBA?
Yeah.
What is?
The next big one will be MBAA, yeah.
It's totally different.
It's a different crowd. It's a different logic, and yes, in general, we see that the two markets, like North America and Europe, are significantly
Still
different in the approach. However, at our last show, Scheduler and Dispatchers, I was very positively surprised by the approach that service providers in our business, service providers, and even airport authorities have towards sharing data. And they are
not afraid of,
and they understand the value. They say, well, finally we can communicate easily with our users. They understand that the legacy systems that they use, the NOTAM system, the AIP publication system, it's just too clunky for the pace at which this industry is moving now. And so when you give them a tool where they can just publish the fact that they are closing early today in 2 hours, they wouldn't be bothered to put out a NOTAM, but they'll do 5 clicks on AudioWiki and post it out, and Flex users can get it instantly.
So I think, from one side we have GDPR in Europe, one among many limitations, which I personally think are very good, but they also instill a certain kind of mentality around data. And as we're trying to move data around more freely, this is clearly a filter, and everybody's worried about getting fines, right? This doesn't really happen in the US. Also, I think online technology is a lot more in use in everyday life in the US. People eat with Uber Eats a lot more in the US than here. And then finally, also the US is one single market. Every single operator works more or less the same way. Here, anyone you talk to, they have a special use case. So from our perspective, the level of customization that we need to provide to European customers is 10x that for the US. And that's a huge cost. Anybody who's ever tried making software knows how expensive it is. Anybody who's never tried making software thinks, just add a button there. It's just, 2 seconds and 2 clicks, right? Exactly. Yeah.
very easy question. Next development steps, next big announcement, something.
Well, we're announcing here two new big products. This is a step forward in the development of the Flex platform. We have been building for the past 15 years a platform that's all-encompassing. We do everything starting from sales all the way down to maintenance, everything in between, duty time limitations, which are different for each and every country in the world. We do a lot of very complex stuff. This is completed. I mean, there's a lot more to be added, but the foundational part is both wide and deep as we want it. Now we're starting to add a lot of more fun and visible modules. So at this show we are presenting Bright. This is what we call our business intelligence tool. Operators produce a huge amount of data, right? And Diego knows very much, what data means, right? Because he produces a lot too. And so all this data needs to be usable now for the operators, right? They need to drill down and they need to have the tool. So we're pulling out this Bright tool exactly for that, so they can run their businesses better. They can understand and feel their business. And we believe there is a lot of money that's left on the table because of details that people don't understand about their businesses. So we want to help them drill down and understand where it is that some money gets left on the table and can optimize their businesses.
Yeah. And generally speaking, it's just about building more connections. We connect to our BI tool, we connect brokers via marketplaces, we connect DocuSign, we connect payments. It's just
a nice guy here on the connected world of aviation, right? For data analysis as well.
So basically, you will continue to work on the educational part and to explain how your tool can give the option of living better and easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically, that's it.
It's exponential. It's very hard to push at the beginning. Nothing happens for a long time, but once you get to the tipping point, it's going to speed up. And we see we get there.
Just people sometimes they need time to understand what exactly
Sure.
it is, and when they got it, then everything goes as it should be.
Absolutely, yeah. Totally.
I will torture you with questions by email, I'm sure.
Perfect.
But in terms of new products for AviaWiki, you will start to see us a lot more active on the future of flight. There's interesting things coming there. So
We'll
the
definitely
birth
share.
of advanced air mobility, urban air mobility, and then starting to bring some data intelligence into the business aviation. So we are applying machine learning, artificial intelligence to make sense of what's happening, why aircraft are flying in a certain way around an airport. Are there delays to be expected? Are there go-arounds, holdings, and stuff like that? So there's going to be a lot more intelligence, which
No,
goes
but
back to what
it's
you were
actually good because, when people are having questions, you have an answer. So
Well, it's pattern recognition, right? I've learned that a lot of time, many years ago when I worked in medical imaging, right? Radiologists learn to recognize patterns, and each specific pattern has a pathology associated, right? And here with planes flying in the air, there's also patterns, right? Is this plane flying normally? Why is it climbing? Why is it turning left, right? And if you understand how flying and control works, then you can start detecting things up front. Without even talking to the pilot, you already know what's going on, right? Because you have the data. And so this is what Diego is referring to, right? This is AI at work. This is becoming predictive, not in the sense of telling the future, but in the sense of being able to tell the present instantly, right? You tell the present. A human needs to look at the data for a certain series and then will always have doubt because it cannot count.
yes.
If you do it by computer, it's about data. And so you can count and you have your degree of certainty of what you're looking at. So that's a really, really interesting development because business aviation is a business that works in real time. And that is the big problem of this business. People don't have the luxury of time to look at things and make decisions and then execute them. It's got to be instant. And we want to take a lot of stress out of this market in this way.
And near-time prediction then is something that you can leverage this data for. So certain airports where if the wind turns in a certain direction, you start to reduce the rate to 1/3. And when you observe that swing, the system can recognize that pattern and remember that in previous situation where this happened, the rate has descended. So you can inform an aircraft which is 3 hours out to fly slower, burn less fuel, reduce the delay on arrival.
To do a lot of education stuff.
There is, but
Believe me.
yes, yeah. But the EFBs are already working on this concept, so it's something that is coming in. And what I say about environmental sustainability is that there is a lot. You say there is a lot of money left on the table. I think there is a lot of carbon left in the skies because you can harvest a lot of gains from optimizing. Yeah, that is. I think it's the last part of your motto, right? Digitize, automate, optimize. That's
correct. And we're at the optimize phase now. So you see, this is what gets us out of bed in the morning, right? It's the passion for these elements. That's why we've built all the things that we've built over the years is to get to this point where we can now actually add on our platforms. We can add these amazing tools that are going to help us save carbon. They're going to help save money for the operators, and overall, they're just going to make the entire market a lot more efficient, right?
And to optimize, you need to consider as many factors as possible. You can only do that with connections. I mean, without data from AviWiki, what will we optimize?
I'm telling you, I will have a lot of questions, so be ready. I will send all by email, and we will continue all that.
So you understand, one last thought, because you understand that in this perspective, the connected world of aviation has a lot of significance in terms of what it can, even if it's not an entity, right? It's just us sitting here together. But the significance for the market, I think the impact overall for the market is huge. So expect this stand to become bigger and bigger at every session as more and more software providers join us with the same mindset to optimize the world of business aviation.
3 is an MVP. It's the beginning.
We will do the best to invite those who are not in yet to join forces, and then we will see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.